pulsating biology, and in today's video, we will be learning about a very important topic in biology, Cambridge, that is cell and its functions. But before we get into the video, we need to go through the syllabus first. Let's have a look at the syllabus. It's very important for every student to have its syllabus, whether in a hard copy or a soft copy. I'd be suggesting you to have it in a hard copy, but if you don't, then an iPad or a mobile may also work. I will be attaching a link of your syllabus in the description below. Well, let's have a look at the syllabus that has 1.1 and 1.2. The cells and the specialized cells, tissues, and the organs. So we will be having a look at 1.1 first. In 1.1, there are a total of 6 pointers, from which the two of them are basically your practical observation pointers, which you would be working in the laboratories in your schools. Whereas in the third pointer, we have been asked to look at some of the organelles and learn about it that consists of ribosomes, mitochondria, nucleus, cytoplasm, and in the cell membrane. So we will be covering each of them in detail in the further videos. So let's start the topic by a very simple concept that how cell is the basic unit of life. We've all have heard that cells are the basic unit of life. But how is it so? And why is it so? The question arises and the answer is that cell is present in each organism of the biosphere or any element also in the biosphere. So let's say this is a DNA and let's start from a very small particle of a DNA, and the cells are also present in the DNA. When it comes to a virus, different kinds of cells are present in the virus. Then there's a bacteria where different type of cells are present in the bacteria, and a very important one, that is the human cell. The cells of virus, the cells of bacteria, the cells of DNA might be different from the cells of human cell. Majorly, the cells are divided into two categories. These are plant cell and animal cell. In your syllabus also, these two of them have been discussed in very detail. Let's have a look at first its diagram, and then we will be learning that how can we differentiate between a plant cell and an animal cell. So a plant cell is basically a proper structured cell like this, whereas animal cell is a much shaped as an egg. So this is a major difference when it comes to the structure of an animal cell and a plant cell. Plant cell consists of a cell wall due to which it has a very rigid and a proper structure, whereas animal cell lacks cell wall, thus it does not have a proper structure and it is mostly dispersed. As I've earlier told you that we will be discussing about some animal cell and the plant cell with regard to the organelle. In your question, usually the paper, usually the question comes in the way that says identify. Now, when we have been asked to identify between an animal cell and a plant cell, regardless of their structure, as we have learned that the plant cell is rigid, whereas an animal cell is a bit dispersed. So we will be learning it by the help of organelles. As animal cell says that there is a cell membrane, cytoplasm, ribosome, and a nucleus. Whereas plant cell also says that it has a cell membrane, it has a cytoplasm, it has a ribosome, and it also has the nucleus. Then what does differentiate between a plant cell and an animal cell? So the organelle that is different in the plant cell is chloroplast. Then is a sap vacuole. And then is a cellular cell wall. We all know that plants make their own food, thus they require the chloroplast that absorbs the energy from the sun and in thus performs the product that is the food for the plants. As a sap vacuole, since plant cell produces its own food, thus it is required to be stored in its own cell. That's the sap vacuole helps us to store the food, and it lacks in the animal cell. Whereas the cellular cell wall. Cell wall plays a very important role when it comes to a plant cell, as we can also see with the help of a diagram that how the cell wall of a plant cell is very rigid, whereas the animal cell is very dispersed because it does not have a cell wall. Thus, there are major differences we have been asked without regardless of their structure, that how the animal cell and the plant cell differentiate from each other. We will be doing it or solving it with the help of this chart that says how extra organelles are present in the plant cell, whereas they are lack in the animal cell. Animal cell does have some regular organelles, whereas plant cell have some different organelles. Let's discuss cell wall in detail as it is a very important topic in your syllabus. Cell wall does exist in a plant cell as we have learned about it, but it is also present in some fungi and in the bacteria, but in a different form. Let's have a look at this, that how a cell wall is present in a plant, how it is present in a fungi, and how it is present in a bacteria. Well, the cell wall present in a plant is in the form of cellulose. In the fungi, it is in the form of chitin, and in the bacteria, it is in the form of peptidoglycan. These are the three major forms of cellulose in which the cell wall is present in many organelles. Let's talk about some functions, important functions of cell wall. Cell wall provides us the rigidity. It keeps the cell at its position. So the first point that is a very important point is that it provides rigidity to the cell and keeps it as its place. It provides the support. It also allows the substance to enter in and to leave the cell, that is, we call it as it is fully permeable. So these are the three very important and major points, that it promotes the turgidity, it supports the plant cell, and it is fully permeable. Thus, it allows the substance to enter into the cell and enter out of the cell. With regard to this, we need to learn that how cell wall is not present in an animal cell. This is an animal cell, and since the cell wall lacks in an animal cell, it has no support, it does not have a proper shape, it is dispersed. These are some of the disadvantages or cons that a animal cell has to face, so that because it does not have a cell wall. The next topic that we have after the cell wall is the cell membrane. Cell membrane is basically known as a phospholipid bilayer because of its very popular model, that is the fluid mosaic model, in which the cell membrane is basically embedded in the lipid sheath, where there are different kinds of proteins, that is intrinsic protein and the extrinsic protein, and this helps to maintain the shape of a cell. So another very important point of a cell membrane is that it is partially permeable. What is meant by partially permeable? Partially permeable means that it does not allow all the substances to pass in or out of the cell. Alright, it only allows some substances but prevents, what you need to learn, that it prevents ions and the polar molecules from entering into the cell. Another very important point that according to your syllabus is that the term partially permeable is used. Please do remember that we do not have to say it as semi-permeable, as this has been rejected in your marking scheme. Rejected in marking scheme. Thus, it is very important for all of you to learn it as a partially permeable membrane, not a semi-permeable membrane. So, in fin options, we have been given 4 options in which is a partially permeable also present and a semi-permeable also present. So, you must have to choose partially permeable. Alright. As we all know that it is also an outer boundary for animal cells, since they do not have a cell wall, inside the cell wall, this is the cell membrane. So it is an outer boundary in the animal cells because they lack the cell wall. It is also present, cell membrane is majorly present in all the animals, and by all I mean it is present in bacteria, it is present in plant, it is present in animals, it is present in fungi, it is also present in protozoans. But it is not present in virus. Cell membrane lacks virus. Cell membrane is present in protozoans, it is present in bacteria, plant, animal, fungi, but it is not present in a virus. That's all about cell membrane. We will be discussing the further more organelles in the upcoming videos.